What is up, crypto hackers? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack our cryptocurrency, blockchain, and NFT education. If you guys are brand new here, we cover the basics of everything around the crypto sphere. Now, in this episode, I'm going to be talking about Xtra. Now, I've talked a lot about DeFi in the past, and there are new inventions coming out on a daily basis in DeFi. It's moving extremely quickly, similar to the NFT space, but DeFi has some really great instruments that are launching. Now, Xtra is focused on certificate of deposits, and the way that this is done is in the traditional space. When you lock up funds, you're given a certificate of deposit in a bank. And the way that this works now with DeFi and smart contracts is you can effectively guarantee a return if you're locking those funds up. Now, this is a really unique approach that they're taking. There's a couple of other projects that have all been running full speed, but this one I really wanted to dive into because it's brand new. It's literally about to launch on the BSC chain, and they are a very interesting team. Now, I dug deeper into the white paper, went through kind of the value proposition and the different ways that they're approaching this. But ultimately, what you need to know is that when, in fact, you are staking tokens and there's price fluctuations, there is a smart fund concept that is called the guaranteed fund. I'm not a big fan on guaranteed, the word, but ultimately what this does is when the price fluctuation happens, it's automatically helping substitute the delta between the loss in the fluctuation and what you bought in at a 90% recovery. So it's a really interesting model, and I like that they are taking a CD approach to this, and just going after certificate of deposits alone is just trillions of dollars just sitting in these banks. And DeFi has a new decentralized way of approaching all aspects of finance. So what I want to do in this video is jump onto their website to do a quick overview. And as a quick disclaimer, this video is sponsored. I reached out to the team because I was interested in the certificate of deposit concept and DeFi, reached out to them, bounced around some ideas on a video, and decided to jump onto their site and go through the white paper, as well as what they're trying to accomplish with this high APY staking. Now, traditionally with DeFi and staking, a lot of these high, crazy APYs that you're seeing are because the projects are trying to incentivize people to come in and provide some liquidity. Whereas this, they are trying to get people to come in and have those certificate of deposits developed by the people that are locking up and staking these funds. Now, very similar, but it's a nuance. And I think that there are some really interesting concepts here around the lending fund that they've partnered with, the guaranteed fund, where, like I mentioned, when the price fluctuates, they're going to be having a recovery of 90% of the purchase price. And there are really cool concepts that people can get involved in with the LP and things like that. So let's dive onto their website. I'll jump into it and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about and what they're trying to accomplish. So let's jump onto it. So as you can see here, they have the 90% security. This was what I was mentioning before, where it goes up. If it goes up and down in price, that guaranteed fund is actually supporting up to 90% and protecting that downside. The APY range here, they have 14.7 up to 45.2% in a trustless, capital-backed, secure, powerful, extremely profitable, and easy to use way. Now, the way that this works, ultimately the upside has a unique approach where if it goes over, 100% or 50%, it's splitting profits between the guaranteed fund that's supporting the downside if the price fluctuates to cover up to 90%. That's where they're coming up with that security figure of 90%, because if the people are making profits, it's taking that into a fund and putting that and protecting the downside, which is a very smart way of doing it, not covering 100%, which is very important to know. Because I think that when you use the word guarantee, I think that it's a dangerous game of people thinking that it's 100%, but it is just 90% of the token purchase price. So when you see the guaranteed fund, you can see that it will match automatically up to 90%. So this is on a smart contract. This isn't like humans sitting there matching things. This is all done via a smart contract. I wanted to give you the step-by-step of how it works. You connect with your MetaMask on BSC. You can buy the tokens on PancakeSwap as well as Conga Exchange. You can stake it, and ultimately you can pull profit once you're staking for a certain period of time. Now they have these different returns here. 14.7 to 45. It's on BSC. There is always going to be some risk, of course, but they do say, the guaranteed fund is protecting the downside up to 90%. So the lending fund is interesting because they're helping support small businesses that are coming in and trying to get out loans. Fully decentralized. This is the power of smart contracts, of course, because everything's automated. All of these distributions are automated. And I do like that, they are kind of making fun of Poly Network here. If you guys aren't familiar with Poly Network, they got hacked for like $700 million. And it was because the hacker tricked the smart contract into releasing unlocked funds. It was an interoperability project. And I like that there's kind of a call out here to that for everybody in the crypto space that saw that happen. And there's a lot of issues that happened with Poly Network that people are trying to use as an example. And they do take security seriously. There are audits that have been done, which is good to see. Roadmap front and center. Love that. The different chains and partners. PancakeSwap launches on the 15th of December. And of course, you have Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum foundations and whatnot supporting them, and Conga Exchange. Hacken is the security network or security firm that audited the contract. Interestingly enough, one very important thing in crypto is going through the team and seeing if they're visible and what they've done in the background. There's a lot that is going on with this team in IT, security, and expertise. They do have lawyers, of course. And I'm just impressed by the transparency up front. This is how it should be. Everybody should be open with what they're working on. And it just is always a red flag when people aren't open with projects. So it's great to see that they have, the CEO and everybody's LinkedIn linked to the site. Of course, in most traditional industries, that seems like wild to think that crypto doesn't have that, but it's just the nature of the space with a lot of cryptographers and things like that starting companies. But this is good to see an actual group of operators that are getting involved and trying to disrupt the CD and with guaranteed fund and lending fund concepts here. And just being a staple and pillar in the DeFi industry is going to be a big, big play. So on page 5 of the white paper, yes, I do dig through all of these white papers. It goes through the tokenomics, 80% towards the guaranteed fund, 10% towards the lending fund, and 2.3 towards the team, 2% towards the liquidity pool and DEX. So you can see that breakdown right here for the liquidity pool, team, and the seed rounds, of course, and lending and the guaranteed fund. I like that they have this breakdown of the token allocations in this chart because it's giving you the required staking percentage as well as the vesting. So this is some pretty radical transparency here. If every company did this, it was fundraising, it would be pretty insane through DeFi. And as you can see, very large supply amount. The tokens created, the initial cap looks like 100 billion. Last but most certainly not least, this is their vision here. And this last sentence, we aim to become a true pillar of DeFi and make high interest staking on our platform bear-proof, bulletproof, and bulletproof. I really like the way that that's laid out. And this is not financial advice or anything like that, but ultimately, this does seem like a pretty clever concept around the protective downside and the shared upside with the guaranteed fund. Now, I'm going to be following this pretty closely just because they are launching on the 15th, and these tokens are, ERC20 and BEP20. So it kind of spreads across both Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. So that is it for my overview on the site. I wanted to go through a quick example here because I ran some quick numbers after diving onto the site. And just to illustrate how this works, if a user stakes 100,000 of the Xtra tokens, which is equal to like 0.001, and that's about $100 of investment over 100 days, let's say, the platform forecasts a ROI of 3.8%. So in this example, if the price fluctuates and the token drops in price, that value is guaranteed by that guaranteed fund, and that supplements the loss. Now, what happens if it increases? So for example, if the price rises more than 3.8% up to 103.8% in this example, then the additional profit is split between equal parts between you and the fund. So that's how they're using this on both directions. It goes down, they cover that percentage of loss up to that guaranteed price, which is 90%. And then if it goes up, it splits profit up to, I believe it's 100% increase to the fund to help support the overall stake. And a really, really interesting concept here because, for example, with an increase of 50%, your user is going to be generating 26.9% with the same example. So it's a really fascinating way of looking at both the downside and the upside. With the price kind of staying the same, the user will just have to pay out the same amount of tokens that they put in. And this is a really kind of interesting concept of taking on CDs because it's such a massive market. And the final piece here is they are launching on PancakeSwap. As I mentioned, they're on BSC, and PancakeSwap is the biggest exchange on their decentralized exchange. So they're launching on December 15th, 2021 on that exchange, which is a big deal for any BSC-based project that can handle a lot of volumes. And they're very heavily focused on security, as you guys saw before. So they have audits and everything, which is very impressive. The IEO, they raised $4.25 million. And I'm impressed by how they've gone about approaching CDs. And I think that Hacken doing the security audit helps. I also think that when they have their roadmap up front and center is always a good sign from a team. But I do just want to finally reiterate that when you are dealing with a brand new project, do your own research, find all the different components that go into it, read the white paper, read through the calculator, plug in some numbers. You know, the example I gave you guys with 100,000 extra tokens at $100 investment over 100 days. You know, that's pretty basic numbers and very small numbers. But run your own numbers, try and figure it out, and have some fun with it, because these types of innovations where the upside is sharing and the downside is protecting up to a certain percentage, I think that it is really smart, and it helps you think in new, creative, critical problem-solving ways. And this is a type of innovation and thought that I really like about this space around creativity in protection of the consumer. So that is it for my overview here. If you guys like it, all the links to Xtra will be in the description below. Definitely check them out on PancakeSwap. And that is it for this video. I will see you on the next episode of Hack Crypto.